I hope that, sincerely hope, that Lydian will give Freddie a real good ride today. And, well, now then, there with the stars is Bryn Crossley, who, as I told you, is having his very first ride in the Derby. Let's hear his impressions of that experience.
It's the atmosphere is really terrific. I was riding work on the track this morning at 5:30, and there was cars coming then. And I thought, well, this is at 5:30, what's it going to be like at 2:30? It's going to be really packed, and the atmosphere, and now the atmosphere is absolutely terrific, and that's what I'm here for, just to enjoy the atmosphere and just have a good ride round.
Well, let's hope he does have an enjoyable ride. As you can see, Waverley Hall has begun to sweat up a little bit, but he's certainly never known anything like this. In fact, he's only ever had one run in his whole life before. Well, Waverley Hall, maybe he'll prove us all wrong and not finish anywhere near last. Hope so for Bryn Crossley's sake, but I also hope that he lives up to his trainer's words and doesn't get in anybody's way. Of course, there's always the danger in the Derby that some horses really are beaten when they get halfway down Tattenham Hill. And if you are trying to come from behind, as for instance Freddie Head is on Lydian, then you have a lot of floating landmines coming back in your path if you're not very careful. There's Paul Cook on Robolino. Well, before he chose to come over on 1 Fleet Street, we asked Paul about what his tactics were likely to be on Robolino.
After we jump off, everything has to work out for itself to start with, and just the first part of the race, there is a little bit of necking going up to the first right-hand bend, because low numbers do try to get themselves sorted out, and they push over a little bit, but with the pace on, I should think everything will sort itself out after the first furlong and a half. With Shergar perhaps at the moment out the race, it will be a very close thing between the rest of us.
Shergar, you see, now is just odds on, 10 to 11, 11 to 10 on, so he's not quite as short a price favourite as Sir Ivor was, who was 5 to 4 on favourite when he won. Well, I don't believe that change will stop Shergar. The very best of luck to Walter Swinburn and to the favourite, and indeed to all of them. And with 4 left to go in, hand over to Graham Good, who is also having his first Derby.
And there you can see Lydian proving just a little bit of a handful down at the start. Lydian, Freddie Head in the all-red colours. And El Nas, the other French horse, just going in. Shotgun now 15 to 2 from 8 to 1. The one wheeling round in the pale colours is Golden Brigadier. There's the favourite Shergar going in. Krug on the far side of him, the one nearest to us, is Sunday Builds, then Kind of Hush. Lester Piggott, you can see already in, standing up on the running rail, looking round to see just how many more there are to go in, and he sees that El Nas is proving one a bit of a handful. Then, just behind El Nas, Golden Brigadier with the striped sleeves. That one has to go in amongst the back markers. Silver Season, that one's just going in, but Lydian is the one that's causing the problem down at the start. El Nas just on the far side of him. These are the two runners that are holding up the start for the 202nd Derby. Golden Brigadier has gone in. This is Lydian just going in. El Nas you can spot just to the right of the picture. He's to go in. And then the runners will be installed. Lydian you can see backing out again. This French horse, ridden by Freddie Head, bred by Robert Sangster, is proving just a bit of a handful. You see his tail is swishing round here. The other French runner, El Nas, just going out to the left, but this is Lydian, this is Freddie Head, and this is the one that's causing the problem down at the start. Lydian. Freddie Head had 1 or 2 anxious rides here in earlier derbies, and he is the one that's holding the delay at the start. You can see all the other 18 quality colts in the stalls, and fortunately nobody is misbehaving at this stage. The only one we're waiting for is Lydian. El Nas now on the far side in. Right on the very far side you can spot the noseband of Robolino on the extreme left of the picture. Lester Piggott looking around anxiously. Jeff Baxter I can see looking around anxiously on Scintillating Air. Riberetto is in. Shergar very, very calm indeed. Shergar in his stall, stall number 6. Lydian just going in now, being offered up. And we heard this call there, 1 to go, and it's Lydian. He is hanging out the back, and this is the one that's causing the problem down at the start. You saw that he had the blindfold on. That proved to be absolutely useless. You can see all the stall handlers trying to get him in, and he's not going in at all. Depends how much you heard him say. Take him away. Looks as if they're going to go without him. They're under orders and they're off. Lydian is a non-runner. Waverley Hall was slowly away and on the inside. It suddenly builds, and in fact it's Riveretto that goes on. Riveretto in the lead from Suddenly Builds in second place, and just in behind these on the outside comes Silver Season. Then comes El Nas, and behind El Nas is Shergar racing prominently. The back marker is Waverley Hall. Robolino is also towards the rear. And as they settle down, running through the first 2 furlongs, it suddenly builds on the outside of Riveretto. Then Shergar going well in the left of the picture. Then just in behind that one is Waverley Hall. That's the back marker. That's the one that's already making some way adrift. They continue their stiff uphill climb, and it's Riveretto in the lead from Silver Season in second. Then Suddenly Builds is third, and Shergar is 4. Then Al Nas is 5, and Church Parade 6, and Shotgun going sweetly in 7th place just in behind them. But it's Riveretto in the lead as they continue the uphill climb. Riveretto the leader from Silver Season up on the outside. Shergar is third, then Suddenly Builds is 4. Church Parade is 5. The grey Shotgun in 6th place. Then behind Shotgun is Krug, and behind Krug comes Sheargrit making up a bit of ground. El Nas up on the outside. These are tracked by Glint of Gold, and as they begin these descent at the top of the hill, coming down to the halfway stage, and it's Riveretto in the lead. Riveretto the leader from Silver Season in second. Shergar spot his white face there in third, the grey. Lester Piggott going well in 4, then Church Parade 5, Scintillating Area 6, and Sheargrit 7. Then comes King's General 8, Glint of Gold 9, and Suddenly Build 10. Then comes Al Nas with Robolino making up ground up on the outside, but it's still Riveretto that leads as they begin the descent to Tattenham Corner. It's Riveretto in the lead from Suddenly Build. Shergar there on the left of the picture up on the outside, then Scintillating Air just in behind them. And behind Scintillating Air is Church Parade, then comes Shotgun, then comes King's General in the field, well and truly strung out as they swing into the home straight and coming round Tattenham Corner, and the white face of Shergar moves up to dispute the lead with Riveretto. Shergar, Riveretto from Silver Season and Scintillating Air. Then behind these comes Shotgun, and Walter Swinburn is committed. He's going for home, and Shergar is going on and going clear. The odds-on favourite clear in the Derby with just over 2 furlongs left to go. It's Shergar in the lead and clear from Silver Season. Lester Piggott coming very wide on Shotgun, but they've got 2 furlongs left to race, under 2 furlongs to go, and it's Shergar in the lead. Shergar from Scintillating Air in second place. Church Parade is third, Shotgun 4, then comes Glint of Gold, but Shergar is well clear with a furlong to go. Shergar a long way clear of his rivals. Shergar in the lead and clear. Walter Swinburn riding him out, going for home ahead of Glint of Gold is second, Scintillating Air is third, Shotgun is 4, but coming up to the line, Shergar is going to win it at the line. Shergar is the winner, very easy winner. Glint of Gold second, Scintillating Air third, Shotgun 4, Church Parade 5, then Sheargrit 6, and Scintillating, and then behind that one came Robolino, and the last horses include Golden Brigadier, Kind of Hush, El Nas, and the last horse to pass the post is in fact Waverley Hall. And so the outcome of this, the 202nd Derby, is a win for number 18 Shergar, owned by His Highness the Aga Khan, trained at Newmarket by Michael Stoute, who's 4th runner in the race, ridden by Walter Swinburn, the 19-year-old jockey, and bred by the Aga Khan. Second was number 5 Glint of Gold, owned by Mr. Paul Menon, trained at Kingsclear by Ian Balding and ridden by John Mathias and trained by Paul Mellon. The third horse home, number 16 Scintillating Air, owned by Mr. K.C. Dodson, trained at Newmarket by Bruce Hobbs, ridden by Jeff Baxter and bred by the Perney House stud. And the fourth horse home, number 19 Shotgun, owned by Mr. Guy Reed, trained at Middleham by Chris Thornton and ridden by Lester Piggott. Lester Piggott finishes 4th, but there's our winner. There's Shergar, and a brilliant ride by young Walter Swinburn, the ice-cool rider of Shergar. Sir Ivor was the last odds-on favourite to win this race, and Sir Ivor won it in 1968 when ridden by Lester Piggott. But there you can see Shergar, the authority with which this horse won, and there Walter Swinburn being congratulated by the jockey on the third horse home, Scintillating Air. That's the third horse home, and the jockey Jeff Baxter there just shaking hands with the jockey that finished second That was John Mathias on Glint of Gold. Well, John, that race was won with authority and command. John, your opinions?
It's been the most marvellously predictable derby that I've ever seen, because from the moment Walter took his position third at the top of the hill, you could always easily imagine what was going to happen, because it's exactly what's happened in his other two races this season.
What was it like out there?
Well, I was just a passenger on a very good horse.
You were always cantering?
Yes.
Was it easier than you thought it would be? Well, as you can see, we're now trotting. He's saying he's just a passenger. Here's Michael Stoute in front. Michael, many, many congratulations.
Thank you very
well
much.
done.
Thank you very
What
much.
was it like from the stand?
Well, a great thrill. Great thrill.
You were very, very cool, but were you upset before the race? Butterflies, things like that?
No, we kept nice and cool, and he was always in a lovely position and one didn't have too many worries.
How good is he, Michael?
Very good.
Very good. Longest distance winner for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes. He said he was going so easy all the way. Hey? And here we're passing Shotgun, the second favourite, the Yorkshire horse. Well, there's a great crowd of people, as you can see. Number 18, the winner. And we're waiting for His Highness, the Aga Khan, to come out. 19 years of age. And there's a great big smile on his face. Not very easy to get to him. Let's just have a quick word, if we can, with the stable lad. Well done, stable lad.
Thank you very much.
What's your name?
Dickie McCabe.
Well done, Dickie.
Just put the lead, Ray. I'm sure that somebody will like to lead in that.
Yes, Michael's just saying that His Highness the Aga Khan will be coming out to lead the horse in. Where does he go to the Arc de Triomphe at all, Michael?
Oh, we don't know yet. I would think the Irish Derby, you know.
Yeah.
And then we'll play it from there.
Well trained. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So we leave the winner as now he walks to the coveted spot, the winner's enclosure of the Epsom Derby.
Good old Wally.
Well, they're both still remarkably cool, but how wonderful Walter must be feeling, because however cool he is by nature, the butterflies must have been fluttering there on the way down to the start, and he couldn't know that the race was going to go so exactly according to plan, except of course that he's said before that riding Shergar feels like riding Pegasus. Well, this afternoon he didn't need wings. All he needed was his own four legs, and how brilliantly they served him. Those who worried about his ability to come down the hill, he came down the hill and round the corner as if Sterling Moss was driving. And there's Wally coming into the hallowed position which every flat race jockey yearns for, and getting the ovation he richly deserves. 19 years old, and I wonder how many times he'll be back in the Derby winner's enclosure. There it. 10 lengths we hear. 10 lengths, so he's beaten Troy in that respect at least, further than Troy, and he's kept up his own record of never winning as a 3-year-old by less than double figures. There's the Aga Khan and his wife in the smart blue hat and a sort of jabot, I think they call it, in front of her neck. How delighted the Aga must feel. And if I don't know where his grandfather is, what particular part of Valhalla he's inhabiting, but he who had 5 Derby winners and for whom the Honourable George Lambton bought Mumtaz Mahal, who is the 5th grandmother, or the grandmother in 5 generations removed of Shergar, how delighted and how proud they must be feeling. The Aga, of course, took some time after his father, the Ali Khan's tragic death. For some time, this Aga Khan didn't attempt to follow in his grandfather's footsteps, or only on a very small scale. But now he's one of the world's biggest owners, and with Shergar, maybe one of the most successful. There he is. A truly happy man, and I'm now told by historians who know a great deal more than me, no less a historian than Graham Good, that no horse has won by 10 lengths, as much as 10 lengths, in this century. No horse. Well, they used to say Eclipse first and the rest nowhere, and I wouldn't really have been all that surprised if the judge had lost his head and called it a distance today, because it was truthfully Shergar first and the rest nowhere. And look at him, he still hasn't turned a hair. Really wonderfully calm, and to what may he go on? Let's hope and pray that he will be kept in training next season as a 4-year-old, and if he is, and if things go for the rest of this season as they've gone so far, well, I can't see why he shouldn't break every conceivable prize money winning record, certainly in European history, and he might give the Americans a run for their dollars too. Talking of dollars, I hope to heaven he never gets sold across the Atlantic, because what a priceless property he will be at the stud. Well, I would indeed just like to have a look at the second, because he's the son of my great favourite Milreef, and as I told you in the paddock, he looks just like him, only a bit bigger. And although we didn't see the wonderful race he was running, because Shergar had taken the cameras away from him, in fact, Glint of Gold was very badly placed at the top of Tattenham Hill. He was an awful long way back, made some ground down it, but made an awful lot of ground up the straight. He stayed on really well, and, well, if this had been a bad derby, I believe that Milreef would now have sired the winners of 5 derbies instead of 4. But it wasn't a bad derby, it was a very, very good one, and Glint of Gold, I think, can be proud, and I'm sure Mr. Paul Mellon... no, that's Ian Balding patting him. I hope and think that Mr. Mellon's over here, but I haven't seen him yet, and he's not actually visible there, so maybe he hasn't been able to come from America. But how proud he must be of Milreef and of this very, very handsome son. And over a longer distance, who knows, maybe Glint of Gold might win the St. Leger. And there's Scintillating Air. Well, Bruce Hobbs still hasn't trained a classic winner, but he, I'm sure, will be proud and pleased with Scintillating Air, who has yet again done his level best, run his heart out, and won his owner a very considerable amount of prize money. And you may have punted your lot on the winner, or the second or the third, I hope so, because here's the SP from John Tyrrel.
Thank you, John. First, number 18, Shergar, the 11-10 on favourite. Second, number 5, Glint of Gold, 13-1. And third, number 16, Scintillating Air at 50-1. Yep, sure. A non-runner was number 11, Lydian, withdrawn before coming under orders, and Rule 4 does not apply, 18 ran.
Well, this is a very, very happy moment, and here's the happiest man in England, or 2 happiest men, Walter Swinburn and his father, Wally. Well, father and son. First of all, Walter, how do you feel with all the pressure that's been on you?
Relieved now. I mean, there never was much pressure on me. You know, I had my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Stoute, and good owner, good lads in the yard, and that's what counts.
What is the father's instant reaction?
Elated. Elated. I don't know about him being relieved, I'm relieved.
And it looked an absolutely devastating performance to watch, Walter, because you were always in such total command of everybody.
Yes, I mean, the horse did what I thought he would do. No problem, early speed, quickened up, and I mean, he was idling with me about a furlong and a half down, so
well, we can look at those extraordinary closing stages, really, because for a derby that was won so... This is before Tattenham Corner, isn't it? You're just straightening up, I think, here. Yeah. And you're actually taking a pull. Did you, I mean, everyone beside you was rowing away. Did you think there could possibly be any danger?
Well, I was always wary for something coming, you know. That's why I gave him a crack, I mean.
And now it's a long, long way home there. You're fully 2 furlongs out in the Epsom Derby. What was your attitude? Go all the way to the line?
Yes, just here he was idling, so I gave him a backhander. You know, I was waiting for something to come. I could hear the crowd shouting Lester. I thought, oh my God, no.
Because, I mean, you give him a crack here. Yeah. And, I mean, how far did it seem? You were sort of furlong out here.
Yeah, I mean, I had a look there and I couldn't believe it, you know.
There's the look.
Yeah.
And I think you have a look the other side too, don't you? And that's when you know you've won.
Yeah.
And you give him a great pat down the neck as you go past the line, don't you?
Yes.
Well, Walter, I have to say congratulations on behalf of everyone, but quite apart from yourself, he must be the most extraordinary little horse.
He is. I mean, I'm a passenger on a very good horse, and I mean, what more can I say?
Well, we knew the two races before were very impressive, but that is absolutely slaughterous.
Yes. He was idling with me at Chester. I mean, I didn't give him a backhander there. And that's what he did when I gave him a backhander.
And well, we've all exhausted the words about the pressures and everything else. I mean, looking back on it now, would you have this week again?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And how about the father? Where's Doreen?
She's in the stand somewhere, and his brother Michael came across, and of course, you know, justified, thank God.
And we know that young Walter's very dedicated, but will he have a night out tonight?
I don't think so. I think he's going to work tomorrow, and after all, he's professional.
Still, some professional, some guys. Thank you very much, both of the Swinburns, for talking to us, and we now can go and get ourselves up to date. We'll take a break and come back with all the rest of the Derby news.
Have you tried the high-protein Special K breakfast? This is the recipe. A glass of orange juice, black coffee or tea with lemon, and a bowl of Kellogg's high-protein Special K with a little milk and sugar. High-protein Special K is the only cereal in the world to combine rice and wheat in such a light, healthy breakfast. The high-protein Special K breakfast for grown-up people who'd rather not grow anymore.
Have you noticed the change at Woolworth?
This pocket camera with a telephoto lens and our developing and printing are at crackdown prices. So's this Frigo-Seal collection and this super luggage, just in time for the holiday season. Your Woolworth record department has exclusive Blitz prices on record and cassette carrying cases, twin packs of Memorex blank tapes, and dozens more.
And we provide the little things we always did before. But you love the change at Woolworth. You love the change.
There's a lot more to gas than you'll see in the showroom window. For instance, we've a choice of easy payment schemes like budget billing or our gas saving stamps to help make it easier to cope with quarterly bills. Are you making the most of your gas showroom?
5 pairs of Wrangler jeans bursting out the door. 1 pair left his Viking boots. Then there was 4. 4 pairs of Wrangler jeans with a flat old battery. 1 pair pushed a bit too hard. Whoops, then there was 3. 3 pairs of Wrangler jeans standing in a queue. 1 pair new to manager. Then there was 2. 2 pairs of Wrangler jeans about to have some fun. Big brother says, out the road, then there was 1. Now the moral of this story is, if they desert you in the end, as long as you wear Wrangler, you got a real 2-legged friend. Yeah, I thought she went home.
Lowenbrow. What an inspired idea.
The only way to get a deeper tan is to stay longer in the sun. That's why Ombre Solaire's special filter helps give you more protection than ever before.
So Shergar and young Walter Swinburn win the Derby in such exceptional style. And if everybody loves the winner, can anybody love the winning jockey more than his mother Doreen, who's now with Judith Jarvis?
And And now I'm with the lady who I think must be the proudest of all at Epsom today, the mother of the winning jockey, Mrs. Whitman. How, in fact, do you feel today now?
Absolutely thrilled, over the moon.
What was the race like to you?
Terrifying. But he had a very nice position, and, you know, when he was third on his own, I knew then he couldn't get into any trouble, and I was very happy.
How was he before the race, and how were you before the race?
I was dreadful. Terrible butterflies, but he was very calm. I only saw him for a few minutes. But she was very calm, as usual.
What is the build-up like to an occasion like this?
Well, as you know, it's the most coveted race in the world. I think there isn't a jockey or a trainer or owner you know, that wouldn't want to win this race. That would be the ARC, the Washington International. So the build-up was, you know, gosh, I can't tell you, people ringing up. And of course, you know, Walter being 19, but he had a lot of confidence in himself. And I think he and Shergar were the calmest of us all.
Did you have a bet on Shergar?
We don't gamble. I don't gamble. And, no, I was just very happy to be here, see them.
And what about the future now? Where are you off to?
Back to Ireland tonight.
Tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, you take our congratulations and good wishes unto Walter too. And thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you
very much.
It's always happy moments after a Derby victory, and particularly when there's been such a hot favourite. We've talked about pressure, but there's particular pressure on the stable and the man who runs it. And in Shergar's case, that's been Michael Stoute. And Michael, not only 10 years a trainer, a young man perhaps, but he's old. He's perhaps aged with the game, but he's very old in the head, and here he is with us now. Michael, many congratulations. The first Derby winner, no one can ever take that away from you.
Thank you very much, Prof. It's a great feeling. And, you know, at a time like this, you have to think of it as being teamwork, as you mentioned, for the whole stable, and that's exactly what it is. We've got a great team around us, and it's well done, all of us, really.
Well, they'll be happy back in Beechhurst, but what a performance that he set up. I mean, any standards.
Yes, it was so impressive. He did it so efficiently that that was particularly pleasing. He's a very, very good horse.
Well, I'd like you to show you just how good a horse he's, show the world this afternoon, because it's an astonishing way. We're actually refixing it now, so the Aga Khan can see it as well. But it was an astonishing performance, because some people thought that maybe with Derby pressure and everything else, he wouldn't be quite as good as before. But he was better than ever today by any standards.
It was very impressive. Lovely thing about the race is that he always had him in a wonderful position, and one never had many worries, you know.
Well, here it is. It's coming up. It's coming up now. Here you are, what, 3 furlongs out. He's gone to the front a long, long way out, but in a way he was towed there.
Well, that's his style, you know.
And here he is, what, coming up to the 2 furlong marker. He's picked it up and given him a crack. He said to us he was idling, Walter, but you can't have had many worries then.
No, he'd got it sewn up then. But, you know, the crowd is there cheering over the rail, and it's a little bit distracting for him with nothing up there racing with him.
But, goodness, he's absolutely, I mean, they're so far behind. We almost need another camera to do it, and there's a lovely moment as he goes past the line, and there he is. He gives him a pat down the neck, which I'm sure
gave him a bollocking for that.
Sure that goes from all of you. But Michael...
No, but I think, you know, full credit to that boy. He's only 19, and, you know, the pressure of riding a hot Derby favourite, he's come out of the gate, he's gone and taken up a beautiful position and ridden a peach of a race.
And we've been on about what happened before, but, I mean, you must have had the odds deep this night. You seem to be taking it very casually, but, I mean, there must have been the worry that something awful might happen at Belldale Flutter.
Yes, you're always hoping you get him there in one piece, but I slept all right. Nothing stops me from doing that.
And, Mike, how good is he now? I mean, we've got a quote from someone here, 2-1 with the King George. Should we go there? Because if it is,
I would think
they're
he'd
going to fall
go,
over themselves to back him.
You know, all being well, he'd go Irish Derby, King George.
And then the route goes on to the Arc de Triomphe, do you imagine?
I would certainly hope so, but, you know, we'll take it step by step. I think it'll be the Curragh and the King George, and then we'll see what to do.
And not a day, Michael, you're going to forget.
Never.
Michael Stoute, thank you very much. That's the winning trainer. Back now to Derek, who's got the winning man.
Yes, with me now, His Highness, the Aga Khan, and so many, many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That really was a very easy win.
Yes, he was impressive, and I think all through the race he was going exceptionally well.
Were you in any doubt at all halfway through the race?
Not really, in the sense that it was just before Tottenham Corner that I was really interested to see whether there was anything that was going to move up behind the lead horses that looked as though it had more to give.
Yes.
I wasn't convinced there was much left there.
There wasn't?
No.
You must be very proud of the young jockey. You stood by him, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I stood by Samani for Blushing Groom and Walter Swinburn here, and I would not change jockeys before the Epsom Derby.
Looking at you leading the horse in, it brought back memories for many people watching on television and here today of your great-grandfather.
Yes, yes.
And he had 5 Derby winners.
My grandfather had 5 Derby winners, yes.
You've got 4 to go then.
That would be ambitious, to say the least.
Was he the man who really got you interested in the sport of kings?
No, not at all. In fact, I really wasn't particularly involved in bloodstock until after my father was killed.
Ah, I see. I noticed, incidentally, somebody told me that your luncheon box here is not box number 13.
I didn't know that, but 13's been a lucky number for me for many years. So yes.
Very lucky today. And
Thank
how
you.
good do you think this horse is?
Well, I think he's probably an exceptional athlete. I mean, obviously one wants to see athletes confirm, but on the basis of the 3 races he's put up this year, I would say he's an exceptional athlete.
Is this the race you've always wanted to win?
Certainly.
And you've done it now?
Yes.
What will you be doing tonight, by the way?
Oh, probably having a dinner with the people who have participated in producing and managing this athlete.
Well, enjoy the celebrations, and
Thank
Your
you
Royal
very
Highness,
much.
thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Guineas, the English 1,000 guineas. This filly Go Leasing was finishing like a rocket towards the end, but sadly, the form of that race simply hasn't worked out. Both Fairy Footsteps and Tolmy have been beaten since then, so that's a big question mark over Go Leasing, who hasn't run since. She's by Star Appeal. She ought to get the trip. She certainly ran at Newmarket as though further would suit her, but unfortunately, on the face of it so far, the English 1,000 guineas wasn't much of a race. Nevertheless, if you'd only seen that race and known it was a classic, you'd have certainly fancied Go Leasing. Number 7, Go Leasing, the Mount of Greville Starkey. Immediately behind her, in the cross belts, is certainly the best bred filly in this race, Ivory Wings, in the light blue cross belts on a dark ground with a white cap. Colours which have been very unlucky ones for Philippe Paquet, who wears them, because they're the same colours, those of Mr. Stavros Niarchos, that he wore on Noreef when he was disqualified in that sensational 2,000 guineas. Well, Mr. Niarchos gave $335 for Ivory Wings, and no wonder, because she's by Sir Ivor, perhaps one of the most successful sires of fillies in the whole world, and out of a mare called Kittiwake, who, believe it or not, won 18 races in America. Well, Ivory Wings has started following in her dam's footsteps, because she's won her last 2 races, and the last of those was over 1.5 miles. She beat her stable companion River Reef in that, so she gets the trip. She hasn't yet met fillies of this class, but she's quite strongly fancied by the French contingent, and heaven knows Philippe Paquet and François Boutin deserve a change of luck in England. So that's number 9, Ivory Wings. Followed by the other French filly, Tropicaro, who is has been known to get very upset before her races sometimes, I believe, but although she jumped around a little bit in the paddock, she certainly looks to be perfectly calm now. She's ridden by Alain Lecoeur, the man from whom Lester Piggott borrowed a whip on a favourite occasion once in France and got stood down for it, and Alain Lecoeur then came over and won the St. Leger on Son of Love carrying the same whip. Well, who knows, he might win this afternoon on Tropicaro, although this filly represents the French 1,000 guineas form, and she was only 5th in that race, 5th to Ukraine Girl. On the other hand, last season, I have to admit, that she beat my selection Blue Wind in the French fillies, the equivalent of the Grand Criterium, the main fillies race over a mile. Tropicaro won that race, beating Blue Wind, so that on that form, she's got a tremendous chance. On this season's form, on the other hand, well, she was second last time out, and a pretty reasonable second to Teutons. I don't really know too much about Teutons, but as I say, in the French 1,000 guineas, she was well beaten, so that their classic would have to be a lot better than ours, and she's not altogether certain to get the trip by Caro, who was best over 1.25 miles. Tropicaro, number 14, the mount of Alain Lecoeur. I believe there's a change of betting before we haven't seen Leap Lively yet. It's important we should see her.
And now we have joint favourites, Leap Lively and Blue Wind, both at 3-1. Go Leasing 11-2, Tropicaro 13-2, Madame Gay at 10s, Humming 16-1, 20s bar.
Well, Dick Hearn has had a miserable season by his standards so far. As I've told you, only 4 winners, and he then only 3 winners, and then he was struck down by the virus. But Neltino hacked up at Kempton the other day, and although Church Parade could only finish 5th in the Derby, nevertheless, there's every evidence that Dick Hearn's horses are coming back to form. And if so, this filly Humming, who in a Kempton gallop went the best of Dick's fillies, that's to say better than Boathouse and several other good fillies who are in the stable. Humming went much the best in that gallop, and she's a filly by Bustino out of a Tudor Melody mare, Secret Song. She's only won over 1.25 miles so far, but she's very likely to get this 1.5 miles. She won the Pretty Polly Stakes pretty well, going away, beating Roll Rights over 1.25 miles, and that was before the virus struck. So if, as her trainer believes, she's got over the trouble and is back at her best, as the Kempton Gallop certainly suggested, well, who knows, perhaps she might give Dick and Willie Carson their second Oaks in 2 years, even though they didn't manage to make it a hat-trick in the Derby. Number 8, Humming. There's Madame Gay, but as you see, Blue Wind is now 11-4 favourite, I'm sorry to see, so I'm on the favourite. That's a bad sign. And Leap Lively is 3-1 and 11-2 bar. And there is Leap Lively, the erstwhile favourite. Well, she was fully entitled to that position, even if she hasn't held it, because she won the Lingfield Derby trial fair and square, making all the running, and Condessa, who finished 3rd to her that day, went on to win the Musidora Stakes at York, beating not only Fairy Footsteps, but Madame Gay and several other fillies. Madame Gay, probably the principal one who runs against her today. But I've always had a doubt whether Leap Lively is a lovely big filly by Nijinsky. She ran here in the blue ribbon, the Princess Elizabeth Stakes, and didn't really look all that happy on the hills and bends of Epsom that day, as you can see. She's just about as beautiful a filly as you can imagine. A grand big filly, not the same colour as Nijinsky, but a similar build, and out of a very good mare, a Graustark mare called Quillo Quick. So she's bred to win an Oaks, and she's won an Oaks trial, but I still have that niggling doubt, first of all, about her ability to act on the course, and secondly, of whether she'll have to make the running. She did make all the running in the Lingfield trial, and that certainly wouldn't be to her advantage today. Nevertheless, there are 1 or 2 others who might go on, Canton Lightning and 1 or 2 others, so if Leap Lively can be held up and restrained and tenerate until the straight, she's sure to be in the shake-up. It just remains to see whether she'll act on the track. Number 10, Mr. Paul Mellon's Leap Lively, ridden by John Mathias. And there is the second of Paul Kellaway's maidens. Well, Paul really thinks a tremendous amount of this filly, Madame Gay, and when she ran in the 1,000 guineas, every one of his superlatives looked to be justified, because she had a horrible run, came from last and finished like a rocket, just behind Go Leasing in 4th place. But then she went up to York, where the distance of the Musidora should have suited her. She's a big filly, and so it doesn't much like going into the stalls with a jockey on her. She goes in on her own, all right, as you saw then, and John Reid will get back on her now, and all, I hope, will be well. Madame Gay has that peculiarity about the stalls. But like so many other fillies and colts at York, she totally failed to show her form in that very sticky ground, and I must say those disappointments at York haven't so far been coming good next time. Fairy Footsteps in a gallop at, you see a change in the betting now. Blue Wind is now joint favourite with Leap Lively at 11-4, and it's 11-2 bar. I was talking about Madame Gay and her failure at York. Maybe it can be blamed on the sticky ground, or maybe perhaps on the fact that Goebel Starkey came to the front too soon. Quite understandably, he thought Fairy Footsteps was the one he had to beat. Went to the front about 2 furlongs out, and then, to everybody's surprise, Condessa came through to beat him. As I say, Paul Kellaway thinks so much of Madame Gay that he talks of her in the same breath as Swiss Maid, who was, I suppose, about as good as Madame Gay on form at this stage of the season, but ended up at the top of the tree winning the Champion Stakes. So if Paul's right, who knows, Madame Gay might start her climb today. Rheinbridge we haven't seen. Second in the Cheshire Oaks, beat Golden Brigadier last time, who didn't show her much of a pay her much of a compliment in the Derby. But I believe Bruff's listening in. Bruff, give us your selection or opinion as they're in the stalls.
Well, I think it's going to be funny when they turn up, John, because whether they will all come this side, I don't know. But Blue Wind did have a very hard race in the Guineas. It's the one thought I've got against her. And I think the French filly Tropicaro, if she reproduces her form, could go very well here. That's my thought. We've just got one go in.
It certainly,
and Leap Lively.
It certainly will be fascinating to see what tactics the jockeys adopt after they've had at least one clue in favour of the conventional far side route, but they've had some other clues in favour of coming over here. We shall see, but as Tropicaro goes in, over to you, Graham Good.
For the 203rd Oaks, over 1.5 miles. All in, under orders and running. And in the early stages, Allegretto going on, Leap Lively up on the outside, Madame Gay and Ivory Wings, and on the near side, Canton Lightning and Fruition as they're settling down, running through the first furlong. And it's Allegretto that leads from Fruition and Canton Lightning. Then comes Leap Lively and Ivory Wings. Behind these comes Fiesta Fun, then Tropicaro. The back marker at this stage is Blue Wind. Continuing the climb up on the far side, and Leap Lively, the one with the noseband on the left of the picture with Allegretto. The striped jacket of Canton Lighting towards the right, the white sleeves of Fruition just in behind this one. Then comes Ivory Wings, Tropicaro up on the outside, tracked by Rheinbridge and Madame Gay. Then comes Fiesta Fun, and up on the outside go Leasing. Blue Wind is still towards the rear as they continue their uphill climb on the far side, and Leap Lively in the lead from Canton Lightning. Allegretto now third, and Walter Swinburn on Allegretto going nowhere near as comfortably as he was on Shergar at this corresponding stage in the Derby. He's in third place. But it's Leap Lively and John Mathias leading from Canton Lightning. In second place, Steve Cawthon. Then Allegretto in third, and behind Allegretto is Ivory Wings. Then comes Fruition and Madame Gay and Tropicaro. Then Rheinbridge and Fiesta Fun are at the top of the hill and begin the descent, and Leap Lively in a lead of some 2 to 3 lengths from Canton Lightning in second place and Ivory Wings third. Then Allegretto is 4 and Fruition is 5, and making up ground on the outside, Madame Gay. Then Blue Wind has made up some ground. Rheinbridge is going backwards. They've passed halfway, and it's Leap Lively in a clear lead over Canton Lightning in second place. Ivory Wings is third. Then Madame Gay is in 4 and Blue Wind 5 and Allegretto 6. And Tropicaro is tailed off. That one you can see well and truly tailed off as they begin the descent into Tattenham Corner. And Leap Lively in the lead and clear from Madame Gay, Ivory Wings and Canton Lightning, tracked by Blue Wings. And these 5 are in turn well clear of the remainder. And it's Leap Lively in the lead. Leap Lively in the lead and clear from Madame Gay in second place. Then Blue Wind is in third. Just over 3 furlongs to go. Leap Lively from Madame Gay, with Blue Wind coming with a strong run, and with 2.5 furlongs to go. Leap Lively coming back to her field. Madame Gay and Blue Wind making up ground on the outside. Just over 2 furlongs to go, and it's Blue Wind now who's come through to take it up. Blue Wind and Lester Piggott setting sail for home from Madame Gay in second place. Leap Lively beaten back in third. 1.5 furlongs to go, and it's Blue Wind in the lead from Madame Gay in second place. Leap Lively, who made the early running, now tarring in third place and coming inside the final furlong. Lester Piggott on Blue Wind in the lead and clear from Madame Gay, going up towards the line. Blue Wind's going to win it, coming up towards the line. Blue Wind in the lead at the line. Blue Wind the winner, and Madame Gay is second, and Leap Lively is going to be third. Then came Ivory Wings in fourth place, and Go Leasing in fifth, and Fruition and Rheinbridge. Then came Fiesta Fun and Canton Lightning, Humming and Allegretto, and well and truly tailed off the French Ranger Tropicaro. And so the result of this, the 203rd Oaks, is a win for number 2, Blue Wind, owned by Mrs. Bertram R. Firestone, trained in Ireland by Dermot Weld and ridden by Lester Piggott. Second was number 11, Madame Gay, owned by Mr. Geoffrey Kay, trained at Newmarket by Paul Kellaway and ridden by John Reed. And third, number 10, Leap Lively, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained at King's Clear by Ian Boulding and ridden by John Mathias. And so Lester Piggott has won his 5th Oaks. He won it in 1975 on Juliet Marnie, in 66 on Valoris, on 59 in Petit Etoile, and 57 in Carrozza. Lester Piggott's 39th, 40th winner of the season, and his 5th Oaks. The last Irish victory was in 1966 with Valores. And Lester winning yet another classic under his belt. His ambition, of course, to ride more classic winners than ever before. He may not have sat on this filly before this afternoon, but he gave her the most superb ride. However, turning into Tattenham Corner, John Mathias on Leap Lively was going very, very well indeed. Very, very well indeed. But it was Lester Piggott on Blue Wind who came round. Here's John.
Yes, he can do it every which way. He may have lost his cap, but he never loses his head. And although Leap Lively did at that stage seem still to be going pretty well in front, Lester's made his move now, and just look at the speed Blue Wind produces. Madame Gay ran a tremendous race, fulfilled some at least of her trainer's hopes, but she never could match this tremendous speed that Blue Wind showed halfway up the straight. Leicester was obviously perfectly confident of her stamina. He'd waited right out at the back in the first quarter of the race, but once he set sail for home, there was never any doubt. Leap Lively has run well to the corner, but was made to look very one-paced in the end. She runs on at that one pace to be third, and Ivory Wings is fourth. But Lester Piggott has won his 25th Classic, which puts him only 2 behind Frank Buckle in the all-time total. And I hope and confidently expect that he will shortly, or not too shortly, but quite soon, overtake Frank and win more Classics than any jockey ever.
Coming back into the unsettling enclosure, place reserved for a winner, and you can see there broad beam on the face of Lester Piggott on this 3-to-1 joint favourite of the Oak Stakes. This filly running in her 8th race. She won a couple of times last year and has had 2 runs this season. She changed hands for 180,000 guineas at the Goss November sales out of Prendergast stable, and now with Dermot Weld. In fact, she only cost 5,600 guineas as a yearling, so clearly the job was done by Prendergast, because building up the value in the filly, and now the value colossal indeed. Owned by Mrs. Bertram R. Firestone. And in fact, she had 7 lengths to spare. 7 lengths to spare over the second, with 10 lengths between the second and third. That gives you some degree of authority which this filly had. This daughter of Lord Gale, who really slaughtered the opposition. But I must say that at the top of the hill, Leap Lively is going very, very well indeed with John Mathias. John was second on the Derby. Unfortunately, he finished third in this The Oaks. I'm sure he would have settled for second place and would have wanted to have gone one better. Blue Wind getting the applause she deserves. Lester dismounts and goes and weighs in. Jumping distances really, 7 lengths between first and second, and 10 between second and third. Disappointing run by Tropicaro, who was tailed off as they turn into Tattenham Corner. A little bit of a disappointing run by Ryan Bridge, who never really got into the race. She was also beaten by halfway. I should imagine that Guy Harwood, who trains Go Leasing, must be having 1 or 2 serious thoughts over the performance of Recitation tomorrow. He's had 1 or 2 fancied runners here at Epsom this week, and they've all run badly. He had 3 horses which were truly tailed off earlier in the week, and yesterday Ridgefield, that was well backed, was well beaten, and so too was Go Leasing. The Dick Hearn horse, Humming, again never got into the race. It was really a race for the first, second and third, in which these 3 dominated. And now the starting prices from John Tyrrel.
First, number 2, Blue Wind, 3-to-1 joint favourite. Second, number 11, Madame Gay, 10-to-1. And third, number 10, Leap Lively, 3-to-1 joint favourite, 12 rounds.
Pause.